welcome to Long Distance Review, and welcome to my new review of the Menzingers album, which is entitled Hello Exile. Now, a little bit of background about the Menzingers. The Menzingers are a heartland rock, punk rock band from Scranton, Pennsylvania in the United States, and they were formed back in 2006. They are of the members Greg Barnett on vocals and guitars, Tom May, vocals and guitars, Eric Keane on bass, and Joe Godino on drums. This will be their 6th studio album. They first released their debut album back in 2007, entitled A Lesson in the Abuse of Information Technology, and this was followed up in 2010 by the album Chamberlain Waits. And then in 2012, they came out with their sort of breakthrough album, the critically acclaimed On the Impossible Past. Now, it was around this time I feel I need to interject, because a lot of people compare the Menzingers to the Gaslight Anthem. Now, in terms of sound, I completely agree. And I think it's around this period of time in 2012 where the Menzingers kind of took advantage of the fact that Gaslight Anthem had dipped in quality, let's say. The Gaslight Anthem released the 59 Sound in 2008, which was their massive album. They became a stadium band, and they followed it up with American Slang in 2010. After that, their quality did dip a little bit, and I feel like people sort of, what else is there out there? And the Menzingers, through sheer incredible songwriting and good timing, came out in 2012 with On the Impossible Past, and I think they really picked up the leftovers from the Gaslight Anthem. And that's not doing either band disservice at all, really. I just think that's part of why the band became a lot bigger around this time. They followed On the Impossible Past up in 2014 with The Mortal Downtrodden Rented World, and then in 2017 came out with the critically acclaimed After the Party. And that brings us on to now, where they release Hello Exile. I always feel like I've been growing old with the Menzingers. Not me growing old alongside them, but in terms of I've been watching the band grow old. They use nostalgia a lot in their music, and I think if you look back at each album, there's a sort of, they're like a timestamp on each album of their career and their age. On the Impossible Past had this youthful exuberance about it, and an almost wide-eyed look at the world around them and the world and the future in front of them. Whereas Rented World was the band in their mid-20s and sort of realising they are living in the real world and this is real life. After the Party was an obvious turning 30 and looking back and thinking, I'm not growing old, I'm still fun, let's still party. And now we're on to Hello Exile, where it has this more reflective look back on your life and realising you are in your mid-30s. The world isn't all sunshine and rainbows, and it's a much more sombering, sobering, and almost diverse affair for it. This is really apparent in the first song, the opening track, America, You're Freaking Me Out, which has this great lyric where it says, how do I steer my early 30s before I shipwreck, before I'm 40? Ain't it a shame what we choose to ignore? What kind of monsters did our parents vote for? An obvious nod, not only to the political landscape at the time in America.
Took her for instance, I moved on her like a bitch, but I couldn't get there, and she was married. And all of a sudden I see her, she's now got the big phony and everything. She's totally changed her look.
She's your girl's hot as in the purple.
Whoa!
Yes!
Whoa!
Yes, the Donald has scored!
Whoa!
Oh, my man! Wait, you gotta look at me when you get out of your
this up.
That is very...
Will you give me the thumbs
Look
up?
at you. You are a... You know, I'm automatically attracted to beautiful. I just start kissing them. It's like a magnet. You just kiss. I don't even wait. And when you're a star, they let you do it. You can do anything.
Whatever you want.
Grab them by the... You can do anything.
But also a nod to the fact that you've got of an age now in your early 30s or mid 30s where you realise that the politics around you does affect your life. And I feel like I can relate to that a lot given where I am in the world, the UK, my age, 30 odd, and what's going on in the political landscape at the moment.
Yes! Welcome!
Do you mind? It's a very, very good idea. Can you get me a rope? Get me a rope, okay? I think they needed to test this on somebody going a bit faster.
This is followed up on the album by a song called Anna, which is the first single released. America, You're Freaking Me Out was the second single, and Anna is this glorious slice of Americana punk rock It's got this great sing-along chorus, and both singles, this and America You're Freaking Me Out, both feel like Menzingers' favourites already. There's nothing massively different musically outside the formula that the Menzingers have got. It's heartfelt, emotional, heartland American punk rock. But it's on this album where they become lyrically and tonally different to the albums before them, I think. This album feels a lot more reflective, an older, a wiser album than its ones before it, especially on the more nostalgic songs like High School Friends, Last to Know, and the emotional closer Forever Youth. I think that's where this album really wins. I mean, they've always used nostalgia in all their songs. They're great storytellers and they use nostalgia in all their stories looking back, but this feels like they're looking back with a much more darker aspect around it. Looking back, and it's not always a positive thought that comes into your head. It's heavy tonally, and it's a much more contemplative look at the world. Let's say if After the Party was the drunken night before, then this is the contemplative hangover after. After the singles on the album does become a little more diverse sounding than before. The title track has this sort of country twinge to it, and later on in the album has this very introspective, slowed down number called I Can't Stop Drinking. The foot isn't as firmly on the gas on this album like it was on After the Party. It's not a straight ahead fun party rock album. This is a much more darker tonal album than before, and I think the production suits that as well. It hasn't got that clean zip to it like the After the Party production had, but it's still got great melodies all through this, great catchy, great songs all the way through it. My favourite's probably Strangers Forever, which has this upbeat punk rock anthem, great melody, great memorable riff to it, and it has Barrett's impassioned and emotional, strained vocals throughout it. And I love the juxtaposition on that song where it has this upbeat punk song with these very tragic and sad lyrics over the top of it. I mean, on a base level, the Menzingers can set any song with their emotional vocals. Their twin vocal attacks always been a real selling point for them. Musically, this album really isn't anything that different from what they've done before. It's pure Midwestern heartland punk rock, but lyrically and tonally is where this album wins. Stories they tell, they've been great storytellers, and stories hit right in the guts on here. Think along the lines of the more punkier side of Springsteen or Tom Petty. That's where this sits, and all the emotions are sprinkled throughout the album. There's like a tone of exasperation and panic and almost resignation on the album. Listen to lines like on Strain Your Memory, where it says, can you strain your memory back to a time when trouble wasn't on your mind? And that's the kind of thread that's linked throughout this album. That's a very Gaslight Anthem sounding song as well, that one. But 6 albums deep now. The Menzingers are 6 albums deep, and they're consistently producing stunning, heartbreaking albums. This feels like a really confident release. It's a band who are confident where they are at the moment. Maybe not confident with who they are as people, but confident as a band of where they are in the world. It's a fantastic album, and is it better than After the Party? It doesn't really matter. They always get compared to the Gaslight Anthem, this band, like I said before, but I feel like the Gaslight Anthem went off the boil after 2 albums, whereas now 6 albums deep and the Menzingers are just hitting their stride. If you ever like the more punkier side of Springsteen or Tom Petty, or if you're a fan of the Gaslight Anthem itself, then this album is for you. It's a great album and it's a great band. Let me know what you think of the album in the comments below, and I'll be back soon. Thanks for watching.